Yakanglers Inside and Out. I'm your host, Jamison Redding, and this week we went to South Florida to Pompano Beach to fish the extreme kayak fishing Sailfish Smackdown. And let me tell you what a tournament it was. It was a great event and we had an awesome time out on the water. But I want to talk to you a little bit today about how I rig my kayak in order to get offshore and chase after those sailfish. I chose the Jackson Kayak Kraken for this. It's a boat that's built to handle offshore water, cover a lot of distance, and fight wind and current very well. On the kayak, you'll see that I've put a Raymarine 7-inch Dragonfly unit, and any color, nice colored display with a GPS is going to work well for you. It's important to have that, so not only do you know where you've been and how to get back to where you've been, but also you can watch the bottom and look for any kind of structure that's on the bottom, look for bait, or just make sure you're in the right depth and temperature to be fishing for the sailfish. And also this being able to track the path that I have made so far while I'm trolling, I can turn around and go back over areas that I might have gotten bit. So having a nice GPS on board is going to really help you in that situation. So moving back to the seat, you'll notice that I have a switch here, and this is the Naqua switch. I'm using a Naqua Pro Power Kit to power my depth finder and my bait tank. So I've used one of their waterproof switches so that I can turn that bait tank on and off. And what that allows me to do is when I launch the boat, I can launch with an empty bait tank and then fill it with water as I go to the bait boat. In this case, they had the bait boat sitting right there for us, so all we had to do was paddle up to it and they would load us up with bait and we could start trolling. And keeping that bait fresh while you're out there on the water is going to make a huge difference when you're trolling. So moving on back, you'll see that I'm using the Ram Tough Tubes, and I really like these for trolling because they allow me to adjust the angle that I want my rod to be at while I'm out on the water. So since I'm going to have two rods out, it's really nice to kind of wing those rods out and keep those lines separated a little bit, and I can easily look over my shoulder and see what's going. Of course, I have bait clickers on both my rods so that it allows me to hear that strike. Also in the Tough Tube and on the rod, I have one of the Yak Attack T-Reins that's going to allow me to leash that rod. I don't want to lose this if something big hits it, or if I'm reaching back to grab it out of the rod holder and for whatever reason I drop it, I've got this leashed to the boat. So you want to make sure you have your rods leashed. You're going to be using nice gear on this. You know, you want to be able to get that fish in, so you don't want to lose it while you're out on the water. The last and one of the most important things, again, is the bait tank. You know, we spoke about having the switch on the bait tank, but you'll see behind me here, I've got the J crate, which is easily converted into a bait tank. I'm running fresh water into this tank, circulating that water, and I'm able to keep, you know, half a dozen to a dozen goggle eyes or pilchards or whatever it is that we were using out on the water. In this case, it was goggle eyes. And I have my overflow right here. So my bait's always going to be fresh. It's easy for me to get to. I can access it while I'm out there. And one good tip is that I forgot on day one to take me a little net to get to my bait. So make sure that you have that net with you so that you can scoop the bait out. Makes it a lot easier than sitting there trying to chase it around the tank and grab it by hand. And that's how I rig my Jackson Kayak Kraken for this episode of Yakanglers Inside and Out. Be sure to go to yakangler.com for more episodes and more information about Yakanglers Inside and Out. Until next time, I'm Jamison Redding, and we'll see you out there.